Millions of people flock to the Las Vegas Strip to spend their time and money every year. But if you're a Las Vegas local, you know there's so much more to experience. I'm Danny Buckstrom. Welcome to How to Vegas, your weekly guide to Las Vegas and Southern Nevada. This week we share places and things that locals can enjoy, including where to spend those extra quarters. That's way more fun than a laundromat, how to check out a different perspective on an American classic, and so much more. So let's get started. Where in Las Vegas can you see bright lights, reach big numbers, and do it with just a few quarters in your pocket? Unfortunately, not a casino these days. In this week's Close to Home, Jordan Gardner takes you on an adventure to my personal favorite place for a cheap first date, the Pinball Hall of Fame.
All it takes is one look around at the Pinball Hall of Fame to know that it is a one-of-a-kind place in Las Vegas. In a city of entertainment, the Pinball Hall of Fame stands alone when it comes to bringing you back to a more simpler time of entertainment. Owner Tim Arnold is the man behind the concept who helps bring all of the machines to life.
We're the last real arcade in America. We have literally everything. We have games going back to the 30s, so no matter what you grew up on, it's here.
The Pinball Hall of Fame is not a stop on the big bus tours of the world, but it has been a local's favorite now for nearly 15 years. And like several things in town, the Hall of Fame has upgraded itself. But the main attraction remains, and that's the games of skill.
My definition of a game is something you can improve at, something that you use strategy and skill to obtain a goal. That's a game. So yeah, we've got none of that kiddie casino junk in here. We've got strictly games of skill going back to the 1930s.
The Pinball Hall of Fame has recently moved to its new $10 million digs across from the Welcome to Las Vegas sign.
3 times the size of our old facility on Tropicana. It's a lot nicer, it's more spacious, it's really a nice place, and there's going to be a lot of games you've never seen before because we have a lot more stuff than we did before.
Arnold has come a long way from buying his first machine in high school, where everything just kind of took off from there.
I started in gumball machines in '69. I was 14 years old. Then I got into the pinball machine when I was in high school. Bought a few of those. It just kind of grew from there. So here I am. More pinball machines. We're planning on eventually having about 700. We're at about 350 right now.
Currently, the Hall of Fame has just about everything from your arcade days, ranging from a 1933 jigsaw puzzle to a new machine based on a recent Star Wars character.
Most popular machines are always the newest ones. Right now we have a new pinball machine based on the Mandalorian. So Baby Yoda is hot right now. And there's classic games from every era. We've got all the best and some of the worst.
All pinball machines remain a quarter, and gamers can even find more options on the floor.
It's not just pinball. There's classic arcade games. We've got the original Pac-Man, the original Galaxian. We've got old shooting games from the 50s and 60s. All kinds of weird, odd arcade things. We've got old wooden cranes that I got off the Jersey Shore 50 years ago, and they were old when I got them. Put a quarter in and get a toy.
And the work to keep all the bells and lights going, Arnold said it's him and a staff of volunteers to thank.
It's a constant improvisation to get these games tricked into working for another day. There's no parts. We have to make a lot of our own parts. We have to do creative workarounds. And these machines were never really designed to go much longer than 5 to 10 years. They were only built as well as they had to be, and then they were supposed to be pitched in the dump. We managed to save 1,000 or so of them, and we're busy working our way towards getting them all going.
Also, the Arnolds like to give back to the community with trying to help as many people in need as they can right here in Las Vegas.
We're not for profit. None of us here are paid. We're all volunteers. And originally we were giving our excess profits to local charities. So right now we're saddled with a lot of debt. But as soon as we start paying that debt down a little bit, then we can go back to our charitable mission.
The Pinball Hall of Fame will bring you back to your own arcade days while helping share those times with new generations. And it is easy to find in the center of town now on Las Vegas Boulevard and Russell Road. Reporting, Jordan Gartner, 13 Action News.
From a Sailor Moon wand to a comic book to a little purple rabbit missing one of its feet, in this week's Las Vegas art scene, Amy Abdelsayed sits down with Kushandra James, a local artist who uses those objects and much more to explore Black experiences and cultural expressions in her artwork.
Kushandra James is a storyteller.
I love graphic novels and comic books. I'm a DC fan.
Although she is a writer,
I write science fiction, so even though I'm not a scientist, so I have to do a lot of research for that, but it's also philosophical.
some of the most important stories she has to tell do not involve writing at all.
I am a portrait painter.
Kushandra is an award-winning artist who uses her paintings to start conversations.
I want people to realize that there is no monolithic way to be Black, that there is a multitude of ways to express that type of culture, and that also it's not weird for a Black artist to paint Black people, because I get that question a lot.
She grew up in Las Vegas and earned a BFA in English and Fine Arts from UNLV. It's in college where she was introduced to W.E.B. Du Bois.
I took a Black literature class, and I discovered his essay, The Soul of Black Folks.
In his essay, the sociologist, historian, and civil rights activist writes about the veil.
W.B. Du Bois describes the veil as being a piece of cloth that every African American is born with, and it distorts the image of themselves when looking in the mirror and their image for onlookers.
It's a concept Kushandra explores in her paintings. Oftentimes, you'll see a prominent veil in the background. She says she grants her subjects clarity, pulling back the fabric from their eyes.
What he's saying is that the Black individual is gifted with sight and double consciousness and can see what other people can't.
She also likes to paint her subjects holding objects. Take this painting of her niece, Skylar.
She's holding a Sailor Moon rod.
In the manga series, when Usagi, or Sailor Moon, discovers the wand, she becomes empowered.
She discovers that she's a princess.
For kids in school, Kushandra points out African American history starts with slavery.
And it makes people believe that there was nothing that came before that. And so it's the idea of being a Black student and you having to go on and do your own discovery and finding out that we have royalty, we have doctors, we have scientists, we have artists.
It wasn't until 2018 that theaters across the country screened a film with the first mainstream Black superhero.
A lot of times that dark skin is associated with inherently evil or bad, and that you can't typically be a superhero.
In one of her portraits, Kushandra painted her second cousin holding a Black Panther comic book.
Of course, people are very excited to see a superhero on the silver screen. We had Blade, but we never had like a cookie cutter superhero before.
If her work looks familiar, it might be because she was one of the top 3 finalists in Park West's Made in Vegas competition. While she didn't take the top spot, she really didn't lose either. The gallery was so impressed with her work, they offered her a contract anyway. Her third submission for that contest was of another second cousin holding a purple rabbit missing a foot.
I was playing on the concept of exploitation of the Black body in comparison to the rabbit, where it's supposed to be lucky for its foot, but it's like a contradiction, because like how lucky can you be without your foot?
Specifically, she points to professional sports.
When it comes to athleticism and Black people being exploited for their physique and not being valued for their opinion like basketball players.
Kushandra's work has a lot to say, and while the young artist has clearly found a voice on the canvas, she's helping others find their voices too as a teacher. She's worked with middle school and high school kids, but most recently, she taught an art class for active adults.
And she's a wonderful teacher. You didn't even realize these colors would be beautiful together, and shapes that you didn't even pay attention to, that some of them that you see every day, that you're walking down the street and you never pay attention to them. She brought all that to our attention.
Kushandra says the learning goes both ways.
I feel like I learn a lot more from them because there's the whole aspect of wisdom, and there's the exchange. Whenever you're teaching, there's always an exchange of information, but I feel like I'm learning a lot more about the history of Las Vegas through them.
You can find her work at the Barrick Museum on UNLV's campus and at a billboard on Highland Drive near the I-15 and Desert Inn Road, after winning another art competition from Meow Wolf and Save Art Space. Her work has also been featured in Las Vegas and Henderson City Halls. As always, you can learn more on KTNV.com. For How To Vegas, I'm Amy
We'll be back with more of How to Vegas right after the break. Welcome back to How to Vegas, your weekly look at what there is to see, do, and taste right here in Las Vegas. For more on things to do around the valley, visit ktnv.com/things to do. The Las Vegas Aces are on the hunt to bring our city its first professional sports championship. As they return to the Strip, our Jason Denant shows you the ins and outs of attending a WNBA game at Mandalay Bay in this week's Vegas Like a Local.
Nothing quite like playoff basketball. As the Aces return to Michelob Ultra Arena, here are some tips and tricks for the best time. Let's Vegas like a local. Before you get to the game, let's talk parking tips. You can park at Mandalay Bay, but locals know the Luxor is a lot easier to get out of after the game. And closer to the pizza joint, we'll talk about later. Next, skip the box office line at Michelob Ultra Arena, purchase your tickets online, and head right to the entrance. If you need help, customer service is just inside the doors, and the merchandise booth is there as well. A game wouldn't be complete without snacks. Now, what to get first? They may just be typical roasted nuts, but for some reason, these taste way more delicious, and you won't regret this purchase. Tip alert: many people walk right past these kiosks, but if you're looking for a drink, the lines at these tend to be smaller than at the full bars. What else to get? Dole Whip. Yes, please. Adult tip: grab a shot from the bar to add on top for the perfect game day adult treat. One last look before heading to your seats. Hop and Olive has a full bar. Munch Grill has great hot dogs, yummy chicken fingers, and your standard arena food. And Real Pit Barbecue has some tasty plates. Let's go find our seats. The game is about to begin. The great thing about Michelob Ultra Arena is that every seat in the house has a great view. Take a look at this. Don't forget to follow the Aces on social media and also tag KTNV on your game day post. Now the Aces have won the game. What to do now? Traffic may be slow getting out, so wait a little bit. Head on over to Mandalay Place, grab a slice of pizza at Slice Las Vegas. It's also an Aces meetup spot after the games. You can also head a bit further down the walk to the food court inside Luxor for many family affordable options. Visit ktnv.com for more How to Vegas, and check back next week for another edition of Vegas Like a Local.
We'll be back with more of How to Vegas right after the break. Welcome back to How to Vegas, your weekly look at what there is to see, do, and taste right here in Las Vegas. For more on things to do around the valley, visit ktnv.com/things to do. You've surely read or seen The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald, but did you know there's an equally compelling story behind the American classic? Opera Las Vegas is performing The Ghosts of Gatsby, a journey into writer Fitzgerald's real-life marriage and the demands of his craft. Las Vegas's own Athena Mertis gives you a look at what you can expect at the performance, which is held at the Space this weekend.
My name is Athena Mertis, and I will be performing with Opera Las Vegas at the Space. I've performed throughout town with Opera Las Vegas and Vegas City Opera at various different shows over the past about 10 years. And it keeps me busy and is kind of what goes along with my teaching. I teach during the day. Well, I wanted to teach music, and so I actually started off at UNLV as a music education major. And as I started to perform and grow more as a singer, I realized that I also loved performing as much as I loved teaching. So I ended up getting a master's degree in vocal performance, and I teach and I sing. So I kind of get the best of both worlds. It's actually interesting. When I was growing up, I didn't really know that I wanted to entertain. I didn't really know that I wanted to perform. I always loved to teach and I always loved music, but I wasn't quite sure where that was going to take me. And it wasn't really until I got into college that I really loved the stage. I remember being in my first opera. I was in the chorus of Deflator Mouse at UNLV, and I remember the curtain going up and just thinking, wow, it's just exhilarating. It's just such a beautiful way to express yourself, and I just loved being on the stage, and that's kind of where it all started. And I just love growing as a performer and getting these opportunities to perform throughout Las Vegas, and having the opportunity to both teach and perform is really unique and taxing, very tiring, but it's a lot of fun, and I'm so grateful that I have the opportunity to do both. The show is about Zelda and Scott Fitzgerald and their relationship and kind of the toll that everything has taken on Zelda. You end up seeing her different hallucinations of herself, her younger self and her older self, and you kind of see the journey that she takes on throughout her life. Well, one, the music is beautiful, and it really helps paint a picture of the story and the psychological journey that Zelda goes through and her relationship with Scott. And it's really just beautiful how it all culminates together, a different way of telling the same story. I think people will like this show. Well, it's beautiful music. It's sung in English, it's short. Some operas can be quite lengthy. This is an hour long, so it's really condensed down. And I just really think that they will enjoy seeing the journey, Zelda's journey, and what she goes through. It's just presented in a really unique way, great storytelling, and yeah, I think they'll find it fascinating. It's a great cast and really well sung, and I'm happy to be working with everyone. I just want to thank Opera Las Vegas for giving me this opportunity. It's been so much fun to have the opportunity to put this together and to sing with great singers and work under a fabulous conductor and with a great orchestra, and yeah, it's just been a really it's been a pleasure to work with everybody.
We'll be back with more of How to Vegas right after the break. Welcome back to How to Vegas, your weekly look at what there is to see, do, and taste right here in Las Vegas. For more on things to do around the valley, visit ktnv.com/things-to-do. Looking for something new to eat? I know I always am, so we have you covered. Melinda Shekels of OffTheStrip.com shares how Hakkasan has revamped their menu and their interior. 3 brunches to put on your schedule right now, and the new face joining the popular team at Sparrow and Wolf on this week's Vegas Eats.
Hi, this is Melinda Shekels, and this is Vegas Eats on How to Vegas. And every week we update you on all the food and beverage news and happenings in Las Vegas, as well as the new chefs, the new restaurants opening, the best bites, and the reservations you need to book now. So over at MGM Grand, Hakkasan Restaurant is unveiling a new look. So it's been completely revamped inside. The bar area has been opened up for more seating and high top tables. Outside, it's received a facelift as well, with some new decor there facing the casino. Now inside, this all leads to the reimagined menu. So cocktails as well as their classic offerings are all available. One of my favorites on the new side is the scorched melon. So the scorched melon is made with tequila, rock melon, tamarind, cold pressed lime juice, firewater bitters, and atomized with mezcal. On the menu, you can find the wild mushroom puff with truffle aioli, as well as various dim sum dishes. Now, for main courses, the jasmine smoked prime short rib is a favorite of mine. And then, of course, for dessert, you cannot miss the gigantic edible cherry sundae. This comes in a massive, very large edible chocolate cherry filled with vanilla bean ice cream, flourless chocolate cake, and brandied cherries. All of this is over at Hakkasan Restaurant inside MGM Grand. Go and check it out. It's open every night of the week, and it's a fabulous spot to pregame. They also have a very special and fun dim sum dinner on Thursday night starting at 9 p.m. for industry folks as well. Check it out at hakkasan.com. Now, in exciting news off the strip, Sparrow and Wolf, a new American cookery from Chef Brian Howard, has announced its first executive chef. So Sparrow and Wolf has been open for several years, but Chef Howard has always been at the helm, and now he's turning over the reins to Chef Travis Schulz. So Chef Travis is going to free up Brian so he can open new concepts around Las Vegas through his new hospitality group. And so Chef Travis comes from Joel Robuchon, from Cut over at Venetian, and also was at Rancho Bernardo Inn in Southern California. He's taking over the kitchen there and is working on new menu items as we speak. So check out Sparrow and Wolf for some new dishes coming up here in the fall. And congratulations to Chef Travis. Now, if you love brunch like I do, there's 3 new brunches you need to check out around Las Vegas. I am going to try them this weekend, and so stay tuned for more details, but here they are. So Makers and Finders is doing brunch for a good cause. They're offering a 3-course tasting menu for brunch, and it'll include a drink, hash, chia pudding, various selections there. And the benefits go $5 from every purchase go for Chicanos por la Causa for Hispanic Heritage Month. It's a $20 3-course brunch menu. Now, over at Spago, located in Via Bellagio, they're serving brunch Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 11:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. And you can check that out at Bellagio. And Bacchanal at Caesars is now doing brunch, and they're offering that Friday through Sunday. It's $54.99 and goes from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. So again, check back in a few weeks, and I will give all my findings from my brunch adventure this weekend and all the best bites that you need to eat. This is Melinda Shekels from offthestrip.com, and thank you for watching Vegas Eats.
Thanks for watching How to Vegas. If you missed any part of this week's program, just hit the back button on your remote, scroll down until you see KTNV Digital Exclusives. There you'll find this show and all of our dedicated streaming content. Stay tuned for more from 13 Action News right after the break, and check us out anytime here on KTNV Streaming. Las Vegas news on your time.